Hey, it's me, Mr. Olsen, and we're on to a whole new section in our Making Thinking Visible series. A whole new! We're starting off with thinking maps. Now, what thinking maps revolve around, or kind of how they came about, was a bunch of researchers went in and looked at all the different ways that we can really approach a problem, or that we could think. What are the different ways of thinking? They came up with 8 different ways. They came up with things like part to whole relationship, comparing and contrasting, or today's one, defining in context. And that's what a circle map is all about. So if our thinking maps are about understanding and processing certain stimuli in the world, this one does it in such a way that we are able to brainstorm, to put all the information we know about a topic or a theme in context, to understand where that information comes from, and then make the link between that information and where it comes from, starting to understand things like bias and empathy. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, so in the center we have your theme or your topic. That's obviously where you write your theme or topic. Around that, you put all the information that you know about it. What I really like to do is say, don't worry about kind of turning the tap off on your ideas or thoughts. Just let them flow and let them go, and don't let them even be confined by words. If you've got pictures that you want to add in, if you've got magazines still that you want to cut up, put them down in there as well. Then outside that, and don't skip this out, you put the context from which it came from. So you put, where did you learn it? How do you know about it? The big old where and how. Why this is really brilliant, and you see it used so incredibly much, is because it's a brilliant way of starting a topic, to gather all the information, to help learners with starting to learn from each other, starting to collaborate and think actively in a social context. That's the task wheel, by the way. We'll get there. It's also brilliant for seeing where your students' current understanding is. You know, maybe you're aiming your topic of fractions at an entry level, but once you've done this, you've seen that most of them are able to understand that. And so what you can do is you can build off that, and you can start to pair up people so that they can learn from each other really nicely. Where this is also absolutely fantastic, and I've seen it used so well in history lessons, is credibility checks. Is gauging, is this credible, dependable, true information? We spoke about that quite a bit when we were doing thinking hats, and that can link up once again nicely, where you have a look at the context. How do I know this information? Where did I get it from? And is that a credible source? All of our information comes from somewhere. We don't just, nothing comes from nothing. Okay, and as with a new topic come brand new activities and explanations, which you'll be able to get from my teacher marketplace. For these ones, for the thinking maps, you not only get multiple activities for each one to start the thinking or progress thinking in this way, defining in context, but there are also explanatory templates as well as blank templates that you can use in your classroom or in your home. You're welcome. Before I go and we carry on with the rest of these, remember that we're not just telling our children, hey, think like this and that's it. Where this really comes alive, and where the thinking maps go from just being, you know, a little tool to a learning device and a way to make thinking visible, is when we don't say, hey kids, do a circle map and that's it. We start to say, okay, we want to define in context. We want to put all of our thinking out and understand where it came from. What should we use? And then you know you're winning when you have some of your learners start to say, a circle map, right? And then they know how to do it as well. Okay, so if you have another way that you use these, that you change these around, a way to define in context, to put down all your thinking, then please do let us know. Let's chat about it. You can hit me up in the comments, chris@homecode.co.za, pretty much wherever you like. Thanks, and keep exploring.